Hey everybody, and welcome to day 44. I'm knocking about today, doing a lot in one day, trying to catch up. So I've been basically filling up the YouTube channel with the updated videos. So hello and welcome to day 44. So day 44 actually kind of is a connection to day 43 when I talk about the power of love and what love is to me and so forth. And one of the things that stuck out with me that kind of coincides with love is that I've often seen this where I ask myself, and I ask this of you, and I want you to ask this of yourself, is that do you find yourself at a point in life where you are in love with the thought of how someone could be? So and what I mean by that is that are you in love with someone with the thought of the potential wife they could be, the potential husband they could be, potential boyfriend or girlfriend that they could be? Like you're basically putting blinders on to the existing situation and saying that, I'm in love of what it could be. Like a lot of times you hear people like they get married and they get married because to them the thought of getting married means that the relationship could be different. So they think that marriage is going to transition into something different. So you fall in love with the potential of what something could be. And you have to ask yourself that. I think we're all victims of that. I think we do that a lot because we want to give people the benefit of doubt, and then we say, well, they could be this way, with the way in which this is going and that's going, I really love them because they could be this way or they could be that way. It is a rough path to go down, because you basically come at a fork in the road and you're saying, do you take a person for exactly how they are right now, or are you going to go to the left and be in love and take a chance in going down this road with the way in which you hope or which you think they will be? So people in a lot of cases show their true colors, show the way they are, show how things are in a sense. Sorry, the phone's ringing. And it makes you wonder, are you falling in love with the potential of how someone could be? You have to ask yourself that question, and you have to ask yourself that question a lot of times when you're in relationships, right? Because when you go in a relationship, you start doing all these checkoffs, of how life would be if you married them, how life would be apart from them, and all these different things. And what you need to start asking yourself is, are you in love with the potential of what you don't even see yet? And I'm gonna go back to a couple long time ago when I said never assume without proof. So ask yourself, are you in love with the potential of how someone could be because you're making an assumption of how it could be without any proof? That's really deep, because we do that. Like we try to say, we love somebody enough to take a chance and this and that and the other, but are you really willing to chance your life on the hopes of the potential of how someone you hope they will be, or you fall in love with the potential of what you think they will be? It is a tough road to follow. And this is why I say, a lot of times, and I hear this in friends and stuff, being single is a safe road, right? Like being single doesn't require you to think about all these different things and think about the roads in which you're going down, especially as you get older. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because in one regard you're cool with being single, and then one regard you don't want to be single. So it's like, when you're in this position of being with someone, are you willing to take the chance with someone on the potential of what they could be? You've got to ask yourself that question. Now and more that I look at things, I'm going to say absolutely not. If there's certain things that I want and I want in a potential husband, and I just don't see those things happening, well, you have to walk away, regardless of the fact that it may hurt someone or not. Like, you've got to be true to yourself. Because my fear, and I'm sure a lot of people were sharing this, my fear is that I'm going to make a decision, going to make the wrong decision, and I'm going to regret it. And at 50, you don't have another chance to then go backwards, you know, and make that, and you know, make that adjustment and all this kind of stuff. You know, it becomes the gap of dating as you get older and older and older, and finding singles in your realm becomes less and less. It becomes a horrible, I hear it with my friends all the time. So it's really a rough thing when you say, you know, am I just going to take the chance on someone, or am I going to take the chance and be in a position of saying, you know what, I'm not going to fall in love or be in love with someone on the potential of what they could be. I'm going to walk away and take my chances on what I know is for certain. That is a rough road to be in. But you've got to take time to start doing these checkoffs. And honestly, because I've been putting posts out there, I've been putting things, hashtag trust your directions, trust your decisions, you know, because it is your life. And when you start, when you stop making decisions for the benefit of others, you see a lot more things coming your way in a positive light. Making decisions and choosing to go down a road because of the potential what somebody might be is setting yourself up for a lot of sadness, depression, and also regret. You know, I'd rather see people live in the realm of being single and at peace than be in a relationship where they thought something was going to be a certain way, and then the next thing it wasn't, and therefore now you're just miserable. I tell you, the most productive I've ever been is being single, because you don't have anything to think about but yourself and the things that you're working on. You know, and if you're in these situations and you see yourself thinking about the potential of what someone can be, you might need to rethink about what you're doing. It's a hard thing to follow, because I know a lot of people right now are going to look at this video and say, you know what, damn, that's so true, but I don't know what to do, you know, this and that and the other. Because I tell you something else. A lot of times people don't want to make the decision to walk away from a relationship because they don't want to be alone, right? So they'll grin and bear it, or they'll grin and bear situations because to them they just don't want to be alone. But again, that means that you're going down this road of, you keep going down this road of the potential of how someone could be, not how they are. And 99.9%, if they are who they are today, is how they're going to be no matter what direction a relationship goes into. You can't be a victim of how they're making you feel. You can't be a victim of their own personal feelings. It is time for you to be truthful to yourself and just say that I can't be in love with the person of the potential of what I hope they will be, but be in love with myself enough to be honest and say I can't make that decision on how I hope they will be. People show you how they are. People will tell you what they think you want to hear. People will try to finagle and change things around. But in the realm of things, if you're not honest with yourself, you're setting yourself for some true failure. So it is common. You know, it's so funny because I actually saw this. I got this too from Dr. Phil. I've been mentioning Dr. Phil a lot lately. I don't know what it is, but he says that to a lot of women. And when they're faced with issues with mates and so forth, he says, isn't it true that you fell in love with the man you hoped he would be? You didn't, you put blinders on, but didn't look at what you were actually faced with. And every time I've heard him say that to women, and every time I've heard him say it, it has been true. It is, and all these women, say yes. So that speaks volumes to the way in which we see, you know, our potential. You know, it's almost like the whole Prince Charming thing, right? Like, you know, I've heard this from my friends a lot. We want to be rescued. We like my good friend Danya, we laugh and we joke about it, like we're sick and tired of dealing with roofs and pipes and stuff like that, because we have no choice in the matter. But it is true that sometimes we'll fall in love with a guy because we feel like they may have the potential to rescue us. But in the reality, we never see the rescue. But then we give it some more time, and we look back and sometimes we say, oh, tomorrow's going to be different. I know I'm going to get rescued on this day. And then time just goes by and we just do not have that time to waste on waiting and hoping that someone rescues us. I don't care who she is. Almost every woman I know wants a little bit of the fairy tale and wants their Prince Charming. It is just, at least most of my friends, they still are in love with the theory of being in love and being rescued. So it's like, do we stay and be alone and understand that more than likely we probably won't get rescued? Or do we sit back and take our chances and say, you know what, I'm going to remain single for a little bit longer and hope that my Prince Charming comes along and hope that I do get rescued? Because one of the things that my girlfriends and I all share in common is that we are all waiting for the moment when a man says, I got this. That is a rare thing to find in a lot of men, because a lot of men, and it's no fault of their own, but a lot of men are going through their own issues and different things. And a lot of times what is happening that I recognize time and time again is that these men are also in love with the potential of how a woman can be. And these men are also looking to be rescued. This causes a major, major conflict in relationships when two people are looking for the same thing. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a man looking to be rescued because he's been hurt and been through so much stuff in his life. But the problem is that when both parties are looking for that, it don't make for a good mix. And people have to be honest with each other when it comes down to that. So on this day, I ask that what I want you to do is take a step back, look at your relationships, and say to yourself, if you find that things are a little rocky in those relationships, are you staying with the person because you're staying with them with the potential of who they could be? Or are you in a relationship with someone because of who they are? Ask yourself that question and then see how you proceed in that relationship. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow.